Let's start with equipment. You need a bow and you need arrows, but there are extra things on the bow that you will need to become more accurate. First, let's go with the bow. You have a takedown bow, which you have a riser, which is usually made of metal, and then you have limbs. The limbs are made of fiberglass, wood, and other materials that make it more consistent. You could use carbon, syntactic foam, or ceramic. All of these make very good products for shooting good form. The next thing that you will need is a bowstring. Bowstrings are made of many different plastic materials today. The reason they use plastic is it makes it consistent and very durable. They last for a very long time. Also, you have a nocking point. The nocking point makes sure that when you load your arrow, it always goes into the same spot every time. You may want a sight. A sight is used mainly to make sure that you are consistent with your aim. As you can see, it's just a circle. Also, some people use just a little pin. Another thing that you will need is an arrow rest. An arrow rest makes sure that when your arrow is loaded in your bow, it sits up away from the shelf. This is the shelf. If your arrow flies alongside the shelf, the fletchings will touch that. If it touches the shelf, it will cause the arrow to deflect and not go to the center. But if you use an arrow rest, you will sit on top. As you let go, the arrow travels along here and stays away and gives you good clearance. And if the fletching does not touch, it usually will go into the center. Now, another piece of device is called a clicker. The clicker is more for the advanced archer, and essentially what it does is make sure that you draw exactly the same amount every time for the correct poundage, and also when they hear a click, they will shoot. And then you let go. Another area that you may see here is a stabilizer system. What stabilizers are for is to stabilize the bow. It balances the bow and it keeps it from torquing the bow. If you're at full draw and you let go, sometimes people want to torque in their hand. But if the weight out here will cause it to slow down and keep the bow from moving too fast. Now that you have parts of the bow, let's talk about the arrow. Arrows are made of several different materials now, as you know, of wood and fiberglass and aluminum, but today's arrow is all carbon. If you have a total carbon arrow, it's a lot more solid, more consistent, and the price is usually right. You need a point. Usually, as you can see, it's just a little blunted type point that penetrates the target and nothing more. The nock, as you noticed earlier, is mainly to attach to the string, make sure that it fits comfortably on there. Then you will use a fletching or a plastic material, and what this does is stabilize the arrow in flight. Keep it stable to make it go into the center. You can also use feathers. Also, you will need an arm guard. The arm guard is used, which is one of the most important parts of your shooting equipment, is to make sure that when you let go of the string, that it does not touch your arm. If it hits your arm, it hurts. It hurts badly. So you want an arm guard. Probably the least expensive piece of material you'll have and the most important. The next thing you will need is a finger tab. The tab basically lays right on top of your fingers like this, and as you grab the string, it protects your fingers. When you let go, it keeps the string from rubbing your fingers, causing a lot of pain. So you eliminate the pain with a finger tab. And one more piece of equipment is a finger sling. You put it on the middle finger, wrap it around the bow, put it on your thumb, and the purpose of this is so when you shoot correctly, you will not grab the bow. And what will happen as you shoot, the bow will jump out of your hand and you don't drop the bow. Many people like to grab the bow, but when you grab the bow, you torque the bow. If you torque the bow, chances are the arrow will not get a good clearance and it will not go to the center of the target. But if you keep your hand relaxed, the arrow gets to clear the bow as the bow is moving forward. That covers all the equipment, so now let's go shoot.